Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday. It's Freestyle Friday. Today is the 24th, I believe, 2023. My name is Sonia Marie, and I'm really happy to be sharing with you today on this rainy day here in Los Angeles, California. It is coming down, clowns. I'm trying to tell you. While I give people a chance to come over on YouTube, let me say what's happening to all those on Instagram. What's going on with you? I can't really read the names right now, but I'm gonna hit this wave. Because I don't necessarily know who you are. But you can introduce yourself. You can say what's happening to me. Give me your name. And thank you for coming on in. What's happening, Bijou, over on YouTube? What's going on? Irene Schaefer is here. She said, at last. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, that's a sweet little welcoming. I appreciate that, Miss Schaefer. Miss Lady J is here. Maya is here. What's going on? Oh, so glad to see you. Jay Walker, what's up with you, brother? I appreciate you being here. Today is a slow Friday. I will tell you that. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that. If y'all would do me a favor, and y'all know that a few people like my broadcast, can you alert them, let them know that I'm on, or at the very least share this afterwards? I'd appreciate that. Please give me some thumbs up if anything resonates with you here on YouTube. And if you're on Instagram and you want some more of what it is that I'm about to give you on Freestyle Fridays, please come on over to YouTube at Sonia Marie's Wordlife Astrology page. I'd greatly appreciate that. Trying to grow the channel over there and bring more people to that space. And what I've been hearing and what I've been sharing with y'all is that YouTube especially is doing its way and algorithmizing certain channels not to be notified, notifying their participants and the people that are subscribed to them, subscribers. That's what I wanted to say. A lot of the subscribers are not being notified, so I'd love your help in that way by telling your friends or your family members that I'm on, you know, that they like me and like what comes through. And again, they are doing their best not to push up anything that's spiritual, anything that's, honestly, I'm just gonna say it, that's making us better. It's really weird, but it's not at the same time. So we need to do some housekeeping in that way. So I appreciate your support if you can do that. Also, if any of this resonates and you want to see more of my shining face here on YouTube, my face is shining. All these gosh darn lights in the heat, because it's hot. Well, it's not hot in here. It's cold outside, but it's warm in here. Now I'm heating up. It's just crazy. All right. Anyway, if you'd like to see or support me in another way, please go below here on YouTube and hit up my Cash App, my PayPal, or my Venmo account. I'd greatly appreciate that. Let me make a few more announcements and then we're going to get down on it. What's up, Megan? How you doing? I believe it's... Oh, let me not try to pronounce your last name. Goodness gracious. We're going to stick with Megan. What's happening? I appreciate you here. Also, I am hosting another installment of the Village Hut. There is 4 people. Well, 4, I think it's 4. One person I think is about to pull out. But there's roughly 4 people, but there's only 8 spots. So if you'd like to learn how to read Western astrology natal charts by myself, me, right? In an intuitive type of way, I'd appreciate you and encourage you to join our Village Hut, which begins on March 7th. It's from March 7th until April 25th. I like to keep them small and intimate because it gives me a chance to be the teacher that I am. Like, I really do love teaching. So it gives me a chance to be one-on-one with folks, to give people time to ask questions. You know, oftentimes, Squirrel, when you get into like group situations or workshop situations, there's always 1 or 2 people that has a personality, and they probably got some Sag or some Leo in them. There's a personality that kind of quietly takes over the group. And I am very I pride myself on not allowing people's energy to take over a particular class or retreat for that matter, because I really, really believe that everybody should be given a chance to speak, to be heard, to shine, to pull back. That's the dynamics of a group setting, right? Is being able to know how to fall in and fall out of existing in that particular group. So that's why I like to keep them small. I like to keep them real intimate so I can touch everybody and kind of monitor how the energy is flowing in my own intuitive way. It's an 8-week course, by the way, and you can sign up on my website, Wordlife Astrology /Village Hut, or here on YouTube or on Instagram. Instagram, you can go up in the bio, and on YouTube, you can go in the description box below and hit the link. It'll bring you right to my website. Go ahead and join us. It's going to be a fast moving 8 weeks. Now, a lot of people don't get me when I said that. They don't get me when I say that. They think, okay, well, it's just astrology. Or if you're just walking into it, you're like, okay, what do I need to learn about the sun and the moon and blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, the universe is incredibly vast, so there's a lot of information in the heavens, right? But at the same time, I like to teach how to read Western astrology natal charts intuitively. So there's a portion in the beginning in which we learn how to utilize different spiritual modalities and rituals and learn how to clean ourselves off, clean off our areas, erect different altars for our use to keep our environment. Excuse me, y'all. I'm drinking tea today, so I might burp a little bit. I hate when that happens, but it is what it is. To clear our environment, set our environment in a way in which we can receive information and assist not only ourselves by reading our own charts, but assist other people, because that's part of the magic, right? That's part of the responsibility. If we're just doing this thing for ourselves to make ourselves better, I mean, go be a monk and live on the goddamn, mountaintop somewhere and don't talk to anybody and see how far you get. The bottom line is that we have to learn ourselves and thus learn each other so we can relate to one another easily, or I should say easier. You understand what I mean? We can get rid of expectations. We can be clear to spirit when we do these rituals and we create these modalities or utilize these modalities and create a really clear space for our environment and where we live. Like we need to connect with spirit in order to connect with the heavens that connect to spirit and that spirit dwells in order to really, really, in my opinion, give truthful, it's truth for me, truthful, lighthearted and open-ended energy and spaces and information hits that come through to assist another. It's not enough to say that you just like astrology, because if you like astrology, that's cool. I mean, it's fun at oftentimes. But if you like astrology in the way that you want to assist humanity, in the way in which you want to get better, utilize it as the viable, intuitive, spiritual tool that it is, and the original map, right? The original truth slayer and truth teller of how to live on this planet before religion even came about. You understand? Come see your girl. Like, let's talk. And that's the real reason why on Fridays and on Mondays I come on, because again, I've said this before. We can talk about the way of the world and how it's changing. We can talk about love. We can talk about very specific topics. But if we're not talking about ourselves, if we're not talking about how to advance ourselves and evolve in our emotional maturation, then what are we doing this for? Why do we even want to know about how much money we can make if we don't even know how to, control our egos to be able to spend the money? Why should we know how to fall in love with somebody if we can't even control our jealousy or our, the ways in which we shut down and try to control how we love people? We don't understand that about ourselves, and we can't fully love another. That's part of my mission, y'all. I've been put on the planet to be people's mirrors. And oftentimes I'm really, really unpopular for it. People don't want to talk to me a lot of times. People will shut me down. And I'm not saying this for pity, but I'm saying this for the fact that When we live a life that is embedded in truth, there's a responsibility and there's oftentimes incredible personal consequences that come with it. I believe that like I know my name. So that long little commercial was just to say, if you would like to join your girl and a couple of other people on an awesome 8-week journey, please sign up for the Village Hut here with the link below on YouTube and also on Instagram. Go into the bio and check it out. All right. Let's get down on it. Let's get down on it. Jay Walker is coming equipped with his first question. I like you being prepared with the question marks in front because that's how a chick could read what's going on. Before I go into what I want to talk about today, let me answer Jay Walker's question, which is, what is the best way to charge and recharge crystals and stones? I wish my sister Sandrine, aka Nemo, was on here because she is a crystal master. But what I know, Jay Walker, is this. The Golden Girls are the motherfucking bomb. That's what I know. That's what I know. What I know is this, is that you can clean them and recharge them several different ways. The best way, in my opinion, is putting them outside, possibly in a bowl, or laying them on a nice little clean blanket or sheet or piece of fabric outside where they can be safe and no one's going to jack them, right? Under the full moon, like when the full moon is blaring throughout the night, allow it to get recharged, bring it back in and let it do its job in your home. I have dozens of crystals in my house, and I believe that that attests to the vibration that's in my home. A lot of people don't like to leave my house, and they end up falling asleep on the floor, on the couch, and I'll be like, okay, are we drinking another beer? What's going on? I'm comfortable. I think it's because I'm a Cancer, but also because of the crystals being recharged and recharged and regenerated. Also, another way, Jay Walker, that you can clean crystals is putting them in a bowl of salt water, or I think best is to eliminate the water and put it in some salt, like not iodized salt, but sea salt or Himalayan salt, and allow it to sit overnight in this bowl or whatever. So you put the crystals in a bowl and you just sprinkle the salt on top of it and let it do its thing. Let energy do its thing. You can also put them in the ground. I've seen people bury them in the ground, literally, and then go out another day or two and dig them back up, wipe them off or whatever, and get them charged that way. Anything that has to do with nature, I'm sure. You can also honestly blow on them. I believe that is not as strong as putting them under the full moon or putting them under the sun or putting them in the ground or on some salt. But I believe our energy, the energy that's within us, helps to recharge crystals or anything for that matter, any living creature, because crystals are alive. Anything that has energy moving through it is alive. The atoms moving, that's life. You understand what I'm saying? So in any case, blowing on them helps them too if you want to clean them off quicker than quick. Like if you find a crystal in the bottom of your purse or in your pocket and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that they were in there. And oftentimes if you discover them in your purse or your pocket, please take them out sooner than soon. Crystals do not live well, and they do not vibrate, and they cannot grow within energy when they're tucked in a bag or in somebody's drawer, or just systematic, or just say haphazardly thrown around in your home. Your crystals need to feel special too. They need to have purpose as well. So you would take them out your pocketbook or out your pocket, Jay Walker, instantly, and just blow on them and go on about your day. Another thing, though, I know this is a long answer, but I like to be thorough in my answers. Another thing too, please do your best not to let anybody touch your crystals. Other than selenite, or there's another crystal that's actually a self-cleaning crystal. You can allow people to touch these, but normally like turquoise, and this is turquoise, by the way, which helps me with communication when I do these broadcasts. What you call it, citrine. I have a bunch of crystals around here. Please don't let people touch them, because they put their stuff on on your crystals. Energy is energy, whether it's good or bad, up or down, all around. Energy is energy, and it'll attract and it will embed itself in your crystal. And then you will in turn absorb what it is that they have put inside that particular crystal. Does that make sense? The energy that they put in there. Come on, light. Don't do this. Okay, thank you. Okay. Does that make sense, Jay Walker? I hope I answered your question. Please hit the like button. Bucking. Thank you, Tamara. I appreciate it. Yes, I am so open to as many questions as you have. People on Instagram, it's only a couple of y'all. We are going to be doing this dual broadcast at least for next week, and then after next week I'm not coming on Instagram too much anymore, not unless I get the feeling from spirit to do that thing, because somebody may need some information that comes through. But normally we're going to stay on YouTube. So if you're on Instagram and you like to hear me again or join our broadcast again, come on over to YouTube at Sonja Marie's Wordlife Astrology page. Thank you so much for the crystal info. You are so welcome, LDR. I appreciate you being in here. And again, thank you, Jay Walker, for asking that question. If you have any questions, because Freestyle Friday is about that. Freestyle is about whatever it is Spirit tells us to do, we gonna do it for the time that we're allotted. So if you have any questions on Instagram, please either put them in the comments or put it in that little weird question category, and I'll see the little red dot come up. And here on YouTube, do me a favor though, when you do put it in the comments, put a couple of question marks in front like Jay Walker did, so I can see them, because otherwise I'm squinting and I'm looking for people's information. Okay, y'all, this is what I was prompted to talk to y'all about today, or to share with y'all, or for you to share with me what it is you feel. Please answer this for me. How was your morning? Like, today's Friday. On the East Coast, it's 3:43. Out here in California, it's 12:43. But how was your morning? How did you get up? How was your early afternoon? There was an interesting aspect that hit today where I believe it's the moon. Let me double check before I speak out of place and I misspeak. But there. It's the moon squaring Pluto. But where was that Saturn thing? Well, that's on Sunday. Feeling that too. The moon squaring Pluto. The moon squaring Pluto. How did that play out for you? Now, I'm going to explain it before I check on you and see what your experience was. And then I want to share my own experience. Remember, the moon has to do with emotions. The moon is about your mom. The moon is about any women that's in your family, right? The moon is about emotional information, or I should say expression, like a knee-jerk reaction, but it's also about karma. It's about emotional karma that comes up, right? And the shit that sometimes... that's a great analogy, Spirit. It's almost like, you know, when you get a burp that's kind of caught in your throat and it feels like acid reflux sort of feeling. Emotional karma in when it comes to the moon oftentimes feels like that. If I had to put a feeling or a physicality on it. Why? Because it's almost like an upchuck that gets caught in your throat of feelings or sometimes fear, or past life situations, or DNA encrypted kind of energy that you have no idea why it's coming up, because you haven't even experienced that emotion or that experience throughout your life. And you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Why do I all of a sudden have a fear of ropes? That ain't funny, but it is funny, because a motherfucker got a story for that. I'm not going to share that with y'all right now. But the bottom line is that's that emotional upchuck that's coming up, especially when it's aspected challenging like. So a square is a challenge. A square is obstacles. But a square is also how you grow, if you can get through it. So I woke up feeling some kind of way about me, about emotions. And before I go into what it is that I felt, Tamiko felt peace. That's good. Or you saying peace? Uh-oh. I'm about to block you, Shamir. I don't want to do that. The heck is going on? Some people said, oh, Ebony said her morning was sweet. You have a Golden Girl mug too? Irene said it's a bit unsettling, very chill, and that is unusual for someone. Okay, you woke up in good spirits, and so far the day has been good. Good, Jay Walker, good. I'm happy to hear this. And the reason why I presented it like this is because I don't want to in any way with these lives or in any work that I do influence anybody, right? To say, okay, well, subconsciously, Sonja said such and such and such and such is supposed to happen. So subconsciously, I'm gonna feel such and such and such and such because this is how I felt was happening. This is what I supposed to happen. I know we're smarter than that, but sometimes we like to go and roll in habit and roll where the energy is rolling. So I want you to take a moment to just think about how the moon squaring Pluto has showed up for you this morning. Again, I didn't finish my thought on that. The moon being what I told you, squaring Pluto is about transformation. It's about the need to destroy some part of you or destroy some part that's going on around you, some part that's in our, I don't know, in our governments, in our local government, Pluto has everything to do with destruction. It has everything to do with intimidation. It has to do with, like I said, powerful surges of what it is we should and should not do. And oftentimes Pluto doesn't involve thought. Right? It's not a calculated kind of move. Although Pluto is in Capricorn right now and is doing its best to be calculated on some kind of way, there really is no calculated move in how Pluto destroys a thing or needs to transform. So let me read a few more. Brianna, how you doing, Miss Warren? She says, when I first woke up, I felt a little nervous because I just ended my assistant coaching position and I have to explain to the girls and other coaches. I feel a bit better after talking to another coach. That's good, Brianna. I'm so glad. And I'm glad that you acknowledge that, though. I really, really want to say that because half the battle of moving through any kind of uncomfortable feeling is the acknowledgement of it, right? And then secondly, not being hard on yourself for feeling that, right? And then thirdly, possibly sitting back and saying, okay, Spirit, what do I need to do now? And then fourth, which is probably the hardest of the equation, or I should say the list that I just gave you, is waiting for the instruction. Because human beings like to push forward and see, this is what I need to do. Let me try this. Let me try this. I didn't hear it from God yet. Maybe God's on the phone. Maybe God's on the phone and she didn't hear my prayer. He or she, however you identify with what God looks like. So anyway, that's that. Cicely said, I felt like I didn't want to get up and go out. But I got out and you loving it. Okay. Oh, Miss Mystery Saka said she just felt a little anxious waking up. Yeah. Okay, so somebody said, oh, neat. Nikki, you threw your back out? I'm so sorry to hear that, baby love. And that's very interesting too, because Pluto is the back. Pluto is the it's the structure. You know what I mean? So when the moon is going up against that, was that back being thrown out, propelled or perpetuated by some emotional situation? It's a question. It doesn't have to be. It's a question. Was it emotional? Did a woman throw it out? You just got off the phone with your mother or your female boss or something. You know what I mean? Like what happened around about that time where the back was thrown in a way as a response to what it is that you were going through. Everything has connection, y'all. Everything has connection. There are a lot of cynical people in the world that would say, well, again, yeah, if Sonja says it's going to do such and such, then that's what it feels like. And again, if you make 1 + 1 make 2, it could possibly be 2. Or if you spin it to making 3, it could be 3. Cynical people believe that whatever way you speak and however you put a thing on it, there's rationale and there's logic almost to anything that you say, which can be true on some level. Right? And I'm going to speak on that real quick, which is perspective. I mean, is it cynical to think that somebody is leading your way? Or is it responsible to say, I just want to create my own perspective? I just want to create my own life. I posted something on Instagram. I think it was yesterday. Mystic, go in the bedroom with that. Go in there. Y'all should see her face. God damn it, she's so fucking cute. I posted something that made mention to the different parallel existences that we live, even as human beings, as we're walking by one another. How one person's life can seem so bright and airy and positive and full of love, even though they don't have a dollar in their pocket, or if they don't have the, in quotes, the things, the material things to make them happy, to solidify their happiness. And then somebody beside them can be going down in the dumps. The way they see life is being down in the dumps because they got $1 million, but they lost 500,000. And now they're down in the dumps. It's like, what? So anyway, no judgment, really trying to stay out of that lane. But the bottom line is, as if you can see just with this weird example, is that we can literally be living on two parallel different universes and ways of looking at things, perspectives, walking by one another due to how we feel, due to how we create our lives. I want y'all to sit with that for a minute because it seems very, very simple. And it seems like it's elementary 101, but we drop the ball in that. We drop the ball because oftentimes if we say, okay, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to look for the happy, I'm going to utilize these opportunities, I'm going to say what I need to say in order to get through, I'm going to pray, I'm going to do what I need to do, and then something bad happens or something, somebody dies or something, and then you're thrown off emotionally and you go, this is not my life. What I perceive, this happy-go-lucky filled with opportunities and optimistic lifestyle is not really real. This is the real, that such and such died, that we went bankrupt and blah, 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 blah. How about this? How about they can definitely exist together, but how about you can vibrate more on one level than the other, more on one level than the other? What happens is that cynical people or those that feel like, they want to be involved with what's going on. I want to be real. I want to be in this. I want to be front line. I want to, those type of people who want to confront a situation, who are always leaning towards what's negative in order to rectify it, have their own identity too, have their own perspective too. But understand, more of that is going to come to you. I know I went a roundabout way to say this, the simplest shit, y'all. But this is a reminder that we create our reality. We create our perception. And if you step out of that perception that you create and shit on your own perspective because you think it is cynical, you think it's unrealistic, you think 90% of the people that I know are not living in this, so it can't be true. Is that real? Or is it unreal? Is it real for you? You understand what I'm saying? If it's real for you, why not live in it? I know I just said a lot of words, but there's a part of me that's really, really hot right now. If y'all can't see the sweat beads coming up on my body, but it's bringing spirit through me because I really think we get off the simple things in life. We get off the simple rules of life. If you don't want mean people around you, stop being mean. If you would like your life to be filled with joy, go outside and laugh. Crack a joke. You understand what I mean? I say that all to say, in regards to the original question, is that moon squaring Pluto will absolutely have our emotions transform our lives, transforms our existence, in and out and up and down, and throw us off guard to bring us right back to some weird ass emotions because it's trying to transfer or transition us out of what we used to believe in. Let me say that again, because I think I lost a few of y'all. With the moon squaring Pluto today, again, I bring up the cynical things because as Pluto is destroying shit, our emotions are getting thrown off. Or if our emotions are coming up and Pluto says, you need to eradicate that, then we start to get a little nervous, anxious. We start to bring the fear up. We start to hold on to things. We start to become insecure. We don't trust the fact that Pluto and its destruction and its need to transfer our perspective is coming in hot and heavy. We got to trust its delivery and its way of doing things. Does this make sense to anybody? Like, I really, 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 really want to ask that question, because I just felt like I went on a weird ass Great Adventures roller coaster, and I didn't have the time to stop and check with myself if I even said the word properly. That's how sometimes I download, y'all. Yes, all the whys are coming up. I appreciate that. It's a little delay, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you for answering. And then, hey, if it doesn't resonate, say that and tell me why specifically, so we can get some clarity. This is Freestyle Fridays here on Instagram and YouTube. And we do this thing just so we can check in with one another. I woke up personally feeling these fears coming back up and feeling like Pluto and its need. And I had to check, like, I know y'all heard me say this before, but sometimes I forget my own fucking broadcast. And I was like, why am I feeling this? What is going on? When all last week and weeks prior to that, I was feeling incredibly powerful, for the lack of a better way of saying it, and for describing Pluto's magic. I was feeling powerful, right? And then today, when that moon went against that, I was like, hey, what is going on? Who just took my cape off? You know? And my own answer, as I sat with it, as I prayed with it, is the fact that these emotional concerns were coming up. These things that I used to hold on to, and especially being a Cancer, and that Cancer energy, sometimes we don't know how to shake shit. It's a pain in the motherfucking ass. I tell y'all, truthfully, it drives me bananas oftentimes. But coupled with the fact that I am a Cancer and this emotional stuff comes up, and I love emotions, but at the same time, I do my best to just work through it the best way I can, right? This emotional shit is coming up. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Emotions, you are not going to take my power away from me, because we are revisiting some uncomfortable, feeling right now, because maybe some past life shit is coming up, or maybe some this life shit is coming up that I no longer subscribe to, and you just want to do what? Remind yourself of it? Look at it and know why you need to transfer out of that, is what I was told. Does that make sense to anybody? I had to really sit back and go, why is this coming up? Because you're close to the magic. Why is this coming up? Because you're close to destroying some part of you that will no longer exist. Why is this coming up? Like almost like a jilted lover. Please, baby, please don't go. We held on to this emotion for so long. We need to be this in order to be powerful in the next. And Pluto is like, bitch, no, you don't. We got a whole other set of powerful rules that's coming. Does this resonate with anybody? It's not a bad thing. I'm not on here to be a bearer of bad news. Not today. It's a check. It's to see how you are actually stepping outside of yourselves, and me too, talking to myself as well. How we step out of ourselves and see where that power lies really within us. So we can also see how that emotional response and its temporary residence helps to wipe it away sometimes. And how it can literally like allow us to pivot. And all of a sudden be walking down a whole nother road. And you're like, well, God damn, I didn't mean to go down there. Well, you did when you responded to shit being changed and transformed, and you let your feelings get in the way. Now we down, Wilshire and shit. You got to get back on the bus and go back to where you were. This makes sense? Anybody, somebody, say happy. Any questions? Any questions? Patience says the exact opposite has been happening for her, because she's a Cancer. She has a Cancer rising and primarily operates from an emotional safety. Yesterday, I randomly threw on Florence Scovel and woke up feeling new. Good for you, honey. Patience. Let me tell you something. That is the way to answer to any of those feelings that can come up, or at the very least, before they even come up. Did you hear what I said? You were proactive in that sense, right? You were proactive and you headed off. It's very, very difficult for negativity to come in a room, in a house, in a heart when there's too much, when there's so much, not too much, when there's so much celebration going on and so much acceptance and security and maturity within self. So if we learn to do those things and keep those things, and good for you, by the way, Patience, I'm happy for you in that way. If we have a way of putting these prayers up, and this wonderful light white armor of light and God to fend us off and to receive what it is that's coming at us from that perspective, then, we've learned how to integrate. We've learned how to move ourselves along. We've learned how to not answer to that power struggle that sometimes gets within us or comes and tries to knock us off of our square. Does that make sense? Yes? Again, thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it if y'all can give some likes. So YouTube knows I'm doing my job. And if you're on Instagram and you like what you hear, please come on over to YouTube at Sonja Marie's Wordlife Astrology page. The link is in the bio if you get a little confused on that. What's up, Roxy? How you doing? She said, yes, sometimes I'm fighting me to hold on. And I'm reminding myself that I'm committed to my growth and reminding and expressing to them in love why I'm detaching for good. It's a daily fucking job, especially nowadays, because it's way too much negative energy that's looking for cracks in people. So if you got to switch your perspective, if you got to play fake, if you got to fake it before you make it, so to speak. And what I mean by that is just conjuring up a little bit of happiness. Getting yourself a nice little ice cream cone if it's hot somewhere where you're at, or, some M&M peanuts in my case, and Snickers, because I do like them every now and again, like twice a year. I indulge for my grandma because she used to eat Snickers all the time. You understand what I'm saying? If that brings you joy, why not do that? Find it so you can head off these positions. Also, in these different aspects that come through astrologically and mood swings, because they are. Also, if you didn't feel this power structure, this need to transform within yourself, possibly somebody brought it to you. It can always be somebody outside of you, meaning a boss, a powerful boss, or your husband or your wife acting way too powerful in their position in the moment, right? I mean, just feeling themselves for whatever reason. How you react can either blow up the situation and take you out of your calm and peaceful perspective, or you can pull back and have some kind of compassion for them and understand that they are going through their own power structure, their own transformation, and you have to lend them that and not allow yourself to get involved in their adjustment at the time, right? It's very, very interesting what's going on right now. I really just wanted to come on here to express that. And to also, yes. So anyway, I'm going to add some more to it. Are there any questions before I keep going on? Over on Instagram, please, add something if you like. Ask a question. Put some question marks in front of it. Join the conversation. I'd appreciate that. And then we're going to go into something different. Thank y'all again. Where's the bus? That was funny. Adding on to my little funnies. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anybody's question over here on YouTube as I go into the next little section of this. I want to share something that I do every now and again. When I feel some kind of way throughout the day, or when I wake up with something, and to be truthful with you, I feel really, really good. I feel good because I know what's about to come. Have you ever get that feeling where you kind of at your last wits with something, and you go through these weird ass up and down moments, right? And at first you're like, I need to change. And then you go, I'm mad, I need to change. And then you go looking for change. You go out there and you're active. And then you get sad because the change ain't happened. And then all of a sudden you just surrender and you go, God, something got to change. And in that moment, there's no push, there's no pull, there's no resistance, there's no ego, there's no hustle, there's no retort, there's no disbelief, there's none of that. And in that moment, in that quiet space is when I believe Spirit allows it to just slide right on in. I believe I'm at that moment in which I know that where I am right now, for whatever reason, it's my business and it's my life. So I'll keep certain things sacred. But for whatever reason, this thing ain't working or something ain't working, then you kind of breathe and go, fuck it. It's on you, God, because I don't know what else to do. I have no idea what else to do. I think I'm in that space. So the bottom line is a beautiful, beautiful thing that's happening for all of us on some level. Please understand that. However it's parlaying in your life is how it's parlaying. It don't have to look like my life. It don't have to look like the way the next person is doing it neither. But at some point you got to surrender in that. And then that's when the miracle happens. But when I get into those spaces like today, where I'm just like, I just don't know what else to do. I like to assist other people. It's a practice of mine. It helps me to get out of my own head. Because if I get out of my own head and my own heart, and I just open myself up for another, or many other people, it gives me a way again to get off of me and allow the resistance to stop, allow the ego to fade, and allow the blessings to come on in. So I want to do that today. And I thought to myself, I'm going to give a couple of different reads today because I'd like to tap into one or two or three or four, depending on how long these readings are, to tap into you and give my attention to you, lend my heart and my energy to you in whatever way Spirit allows. And then we'll end with a wonderful card read. If there's any questions in between, I'll be glad to answer them. But that's what I like to do. I like to be of service to you today. Okay. So at this time, if you would like to have a really quick read with your sun, your moon, and your rising sign, I'd ask you to post that right now in the comments. Okay. Again, oh, thank you, Tamara. It's a practice of mine, and I don't know where I got it from. I don't know where I got it from. I want to say my grandmother on some level because I would see her, and my mom is a great servicer too. My mom is an awesome, awesome nurse. And she has a way of just pouring into people when she's shining in her light in that way. So many people believe her and connect with her and understand her and allow them to groom her, allow her to groom them. They trust her. So it's like the service end oftentimes again leans to the fact that we understand on some level, me, my mother, my grandmother, maybe you do the same thing. On some level, I'm not the only one in this. And I don't have to lock myself up in a box, in a corner, in an apartment for that matter, and be so concentrated and hell bent on what I need to get done. Because you know what? It ain't about me. It ain't about you. It is, but it ain't. You understand what I'm saying? Not always. You understand my vocabulary? You get my mathematics, cousin. All right, let's get to it. I'm so glad, Lyric. I'm so glad. But you need to tell me which one is which, honey pie, Lyric. Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius. I don't know which one is the rise, which one is the moon, and which one is the sun. Irene, I need you to just put your sun, your moon, and your rise. I appreciate all this extra information, but I can't do anything with that right now. I'm not going to stop and pull up somebody's chart, okay? So if you don't know it, you can go to ALABE right now, ALABE.com. That's ALAB with an E on the end. .com. And in the middle of the page, it'll say free natal chart. You go, yep, click the button, put in your time, your date, and your place of birth. In order for it to be accurate, you need the time, okay? And the reason why I like that particular website is because they give you a little synopsis underneath it. Underneath it. I was laughing with an old friend of mine. Said, "How do we make underneath a underneath a underneath a?" That sounds like somebody's cousin. Underneath a tree. Underneath a. So you'll click that, and then underneath a, you'll have all these. You'll have a synopsis of your particular chart. Okay. Let me go. Let me go in here. We're gonna do like this. We're gonna do one from YouTube, one from Instagram, one from YouTube, and one from Instagram, and be out. All right. Or I should say, be done with that part right now. Right there, right there, right there. Duchess Plum, can you be honest with me and tell me if I've already read your thing already? Please be honest. I'd like to give somebody a chance who has not been read before. And for some reason, either I just recognize your name or I think I may have done this before with you. Again, please be honest. For Duchess Plum, you still in the place? Up in the Bronx where the people are fresh. There was one DJ that could pass the test. I have not. Okay. But you have been following me for years. I know. I recognize your name. It's very unique. It's very, very, you know what it sounds like? Your name sounds like a lip line. Duchess Plum. Like a lip care line or a lipstick line. You can take that idea. Duchess Plum. Get your Duchess Plum and make your lips nice and moist. The fuck is wrong with me? Okay. Let's go back to Duchess Plum. She has a sun in Pisces. That moon is in Scorpio. Oh no, yeah, sun in Pisces, rising in Scorpio, and moon is in Libra. That almost sounds like my puppy. The sun in Pisces. Let me tell you, first of all, happy solar return. I don't know when it is, but we are in Pisces season. So happy solar return to you. That Scorpio rising assists that Pisces for sure. Let me tell you how. Okay. I love Pisces energy for one, as we already know, because I've said it a bunch of times. Pisces energy is genius, like they just don't believe it. Pisces is the one that really knows the most out of all the signs. When I say no, I mean like intuitively no. They connect with. They just don't believe it, and in this society, don't believe that it has value over the things that has been taught, over the things that have been recorded, over the things that have been proven, above and beyond the cynical motherfuckers who just want you to be real or just want to debate. You know, the people that want to debate, like Pisces come up against all of these different fact tellers, right? It says, well, prove it to me. And Pisces says, well, actually, I can't. I just woke up in a dream one day and motherfuckers was just telling me, you know, you're about to go to college and you need to get this $100 million. So here you go. You know, Pisces don't have too much reasoning behind their genius. But I really wish that they would step into it a whole lot more, because we're going to need you. And I've said that 1,000 times, right? We're going to need that intuitive prowess for sure. Pisces energy does not want to be here. It loves to float away, to get away from the harshness of reality. Pisces energy is incredibly porous. It allows people to, you respond and absorb to anybody and everything that is around you. You feel the sensitivities of everyone in a good way and sometimes in an overexcited way. And what I mean by that is that sometimes you can be sensitive to what's going on around you and be keen and be intuitive to give this one this and to help with this one and give this one a hug because they quietly need it. But then sometimes that hypersensitivity can be hyper. It can be too much, oftentimes, especially with Scorpio on the rise, because Scorpio is going out there actually taking in everything, observing everything. I like to say that Scorpio energy on the rise is, or I should say this, they walk into a room and they can pick up in 2.2 seconds who's mad, who's sad, who's glad, and then the Pisces will service that, because Pisces is a mutable sign, by the way, and all mutable signs are service oriented in some kind of way, right? So the Scorpio energy picks up on it. This is what they need. And then the Pisces goes ahead and facilitates the emotional security or the help that this person needs. Here's where it gets out of whack sometimes, is that sometimes you can intuit or be sensitive to things that is above and beyond your control. Or you may misread it, you know what I mean? And put your own shit on it and say, well, this person is sitting there with nothing to eat. Maybe I should give them a whole turkey. And when you give them the turkey, they look at you and go, you know, I'm vegan, right? My point is that oftentimes you can put yourself in places as a Pisces person, especially with Scorpio on the rise, by being hypersensitive and feeling like opportune words, feeling like a person or situation needs something and you didn't ask the questions. Isn't it wonderful how astrology can show us how to utilize the magic of a particular energy, but also can show us when we go overboard? It's the good and the bad and everything. Make sense to everybody here? I love teaching. Oh, you're Village Hut alumni. I could use one at this time. Oh, you are? Who's that? Kiss the Goddess? That's Mara. Good God, I can't think of your name. Victoria. Anyway, we're going to go back to you in a second, sweetie pie face. How are you, by the way? So forgive me. I forgot where I left off. Coming back, bring it back, bring it back. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So all of that sensitivity, again, astrology, the bottom line, the up and the down, utilizing, knowing that we have to be in, we have to be open. We have to be in tune with how we use the energy that we have. That's why I speak on both sides when I do these reads. I give y'all the good and the bad of it all and allow you to balance that shit out. Okay. Your moon in Libra, though, helps in a way. Because if Scorpio is on the rise, first of all, you're very observant, and usually Scorpio rising people have beady eyes. If their eyes are not small, their eyes are looking like they're piercing through something or x-raying. Remember, the rising is not only what you attract, but it's also how you look, like your wardrobe and your hair and shit like that, right? So in any case, so Scorpio, how you look is always figuring it out. Always observant, always questioning, you know, because Scorpio energy doesn't trust. And then you have that moon in Libra, which is absolutely cynical from an emotional standpoint. So if the Scorpio is bringing it in, Pisces is caring and trying to figure it out how they can be of service. And here comes the moon in Libra going, yeah, but I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I believe all of that thing. You believe that shit, Scorpio? I mean, I'm still watching. I don't think. And Pisces is like, well, let's just help them anyway. Let's just give them the money. Let's just give them a bed. Let's just give them a place to be. Here's the deal. I really, really think on some level that Scorpio rise and your cynical moon in Libra oftentimes saves your Pisces energy from giving away and doing too much unconditionally. Thank her every now and again. But quite contrarily, also suggest to your moon, especially in Libra, because she's out of pocket. She's an air sign with your water rise and your water sun. Say to your Libra moon, I mean, it may not be true. Moon in Libra, your cynical ass, and the fact that you just want to be a partner with somebody and you just want to make sure justice is justice. And if it ain't, we got to prove it, you know. That's a good part of you as well. But sometimes that cynical part can absolutely shut down the experience of the unconditional love of a thing. Does that make sense? Duchess Plum? I don't know if you're there. Okay. It can shut down the love of a thing. Remember, y'all, above and beyond anything else, regardless of what this journey puts us on, we are always responsible for looking for love, reacting in love, finding the love, distributing the love. It's all about love. As hard as it may be to administer it sometimes, that's the only reason why we fucking here, is to love and get through this situation, to work out whatever we need to work out here and utilize love almost always. So if the Piscean love is trying to come through, every now and again, you're going to have to let her shine, okay? I'm just saying. That's really, really quick, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I wanted to do a couple more, right? Victoria. Did I say your name? I did say your name, didn't I? Pisces season can be an emotional roller coaster. That's for sure. 726 Monica. It can be. Not unless you own a surfboard, you know what I mean? Or you know how to get on that roller coaster and ride that shit. Hold your breath. Close your eyes. Sometimes it can be joyous too. because there's some emotions that you need to revisit that you can get some clarity in, if as long as you're not fighting it. I hope that makes sense to somebody in the room. So Victoria so politely asked to get a read. Her Cancer rising, her Scorpio moon, and her Cancer rising, her Scorpio sun, and her Pisces moon. That's a lot of water. That's absolutely a lot of water. And what's so interesting about that, very different from the read that I just read. And I want y'all to try to find a difference within your own mind. And if you have questions, please ask. Put a question mark in front of the sentence so I can see it. Scorpio sun is quite different from it being on the rise. On the rise, it's on the outside of you, so people detect it a lot quicker. When it's inside of you, you move with it, right? You just move like a Scorpio, but that's not necessarily how you respond from it. Victoria, I may or may not speak to what it is that you need to hear right now, because honey pie, I'm not really trying to open up that part of my brain to intuit what it is that you're going through. So I'm gonna read from a general level and hope that it hits in some kind of way. It's very dangerous for me to open up and see people's ancestors and guides and tap into who they are when it's very, very public for me. So I'm going to speak from a general perspective. So Scorpio moving like a Scorpio sun is very, very different than having a Scorpio rise. Scorpio sun innately doesn't trust. Scorpio sun innately is always looking to blow some shit up. Again, it's ruled by Pluto, and it's not very popular when it does it. I honestly rock with a lot of Scorpios in a way in which I love their passion. But oftentimes that Scorpio energy can create situations. This may be a hard one to swallow, Victoria, so go with me and any other Scorpios that's on here. It's hard oftentimes to get through and grow through whatever you need to grow through, because you do not see the fact that you are perpetuating oftentimes some of the dramatic and or challenging situations that you go through. You may say to yourself, no, I just want to be peaceful. I just want this. I just want that. I just want to be able to I just want to move this out the way. They no longer work for me. I need to do this. I need to go over here. I need to blah, 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 blah. It's the way you execute situations, Scorpio sun. Because sometimes if you execute by moving this cup out the way, instead of just picking it up and politely putting it on the other side of the table or the desk, you want to throw it. You want to throw it. You want to throw it. I had to say that 3 times because my phone rang. You want to throw it. You don't need to throw it and make a definition, make a statement, right? Scorpio energy. I'm saying this, I hope, for a reason. What happens is that for you, Victoria, just given that chance or that example, the moon in Pisces wants to react with, I didn't mean to hurt you. Remember, the moon is about reaction, right? It's about what comes off straight away. It's not rising. Rising is what's on you, like your shirt. The shirt's going to be on you, not unless you're going to see my boobs, right? But the moon is about the reaction of a thing. It's what cuts through everything. So if the Scorpio is setting up destruction, if the Scorpio is not necessarily responding and or I should say not responding, if the Scorpio is not acting in a way in which it's not trusting, oftentimes it can attract people that's not trustworthy. Bottom line, point blank, it can attract people that's not trustworthy because you're already like this, one eye open, so to speak. And then the moon in Pisces, then the Scorpio does something. And then the moon in Pisces wants to react with, well, I didn't mean to, because I'm so caring, because I'm loving, because, I just want the best for everybody, because I want to service everybody. Again, I may or may not be talking about you in this moment in time, Victoria, but prayerfully you can get something out of it. Watch that moon in Pisces coming back to save the day on this reaction when you need to sit back to see how you're putting it out there. And then that Cancer rising, if she gets her feelings hurt because somebody is like, you did X, Y, and Z to the Scorpio. Here's the Cancer rise. Well, I'm shutting down. And none of y'all motherfuckers are going to be able to see me now. None of y'all motherfuckers are going to be able to have access to me now. Because Cancer does that, especially on the rise. An incredible shell, crab-like shell will just come over you oftentimes, and you won't let anybody in. But again, please and very please ask yourself, did I perpetuate this shit? Did I perpetuate this? I'm not making you to blame for nothing, Victoria, in this moment in time, nor for any Scorpios that are on here. I need us to learn how to check ourselves before we decide we are victims of anything. That's a real motherfucking word. Check yourself in a way that brings love to yourself, not that beats yourself up or shames yourself. That Cancer on the rise can also allow you to not only shut down, but if you don't get what you want, you don't get the respect that you want, because that Cancer on the rise is still all the water in you. It's still real nurturing, loving, emotional, wants to tap in, wants to be of help, wants to service people with hugs and good times. You know what I mean? Like that Cancer on the rise still wants to be a mama, right? What was I going to say? But when she shuts down and when people can't have access to her, oftentimes, honestly, she reverts to food, especially Cancer on the rise and Taurus on the rise, or Cancer moon or Taurus moon. They resort to food as a protection. Okay? Please, please, and very please, food is not going to comfort you, Victoria, or anybody in that way. Or you go back to the past, Cancer rising. Let me find some gems that I discovered in the past that I can create a different business on. Or let me discover what I used to say to my best friend, to my boy, to my chick, in the past, the things that I used to do that proved to be that proved to be worthy, that proved to work. Let me drudge up that shit from the past and use that again when it's not applicable in this moment in time. Cancer loves the past. And the reason why I'm saying it like this is because it's on the rise, it's on the defense, is what comes up when you're afraid. Remember, the moon is about the response of it all. Before you can even think about that shit, the moon is responding. But the rise is about how you protect and how you defend yourself. There you go, Victoria. She says, I allow my emotions to pass before I respond. Okay. If you do that, that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad. Thank you, Chanel. I appreciate you. I appreciate oh wow, that's really, really sweet. The donation. If anyone wants to donate, I appreciate that. Please hit my Cash App or Venmo or PayPal in the link below. Rage quit. Wait, what is that saying? You're so dope, Miss Roberts. Thank you. If you have that under control, Victoria, awesome. I'm so glad for you. Maybe you have evolved in a way in which it helps you. But that's all I got for you in this moment in time, okay? Let's go back to YouTube. Wow, you hear that wind, Mystic? Linda. You're welcome, Victoria. Linda. She has a sun in Aries, a moon in Taurus, and a rising in Aquarius. I kind of feel like I read you too, but or at least those positions. The sun in Aries, I love Aries people. I love all kind of folks. I just love people. I really, really do, because I love sitting back watching and seeing how people navigate and vibrate through the world. It's all education for me. The sun in Aries is a beautiful thing. You kick it off. You're the first sign, whereas Pisces is the last sign. That sun in Aries allows you to be the innovator. It allows you to be the baby. It allows you to be the one who's independent, who's forthright, who's saying what a thing is, right? I love Aries energy for that. Who gets out there on the front line and is like, nope, this is what I feel. This is what the people feel. This is what we need. Like, we'll catch bullets. We need soldiers like that. We need more and more soldiers in that Aries realm. And by the way, we all have 12 signs, all 12 signs within us. We all have 12 signs within us. It just hits somewhere different within our bodies, or I should say within our personalities. So That Sun in Aries coupled with that Aquarius rising is a nice little mix. That's a sextile in its own way, meaning that Aquarius and Aries gets along. And but what's tricky about that is that Aries is always looking for the fight, and Aquarius is always looking to not fight. So that's an interesting dynamic, right? And I'm not speaking of fighting like physical fighting. I'm speaking confrontations. I'm speaking of being a frontline person. I'm speaking of being the person who goes rogue and who's incredibly independent and says, I'm going to take this way or whatever, right? You have that in your Aquarius nature too, because she is absolutely independent as well. But when she's on the rise, it's a different kind of thing. She doesn't allow a lot of harsh words, a lot of confrontation, fighting, high tempers to come in her space. Where the Aries again is propelling it. I kind of feel like I'm talking to Victoria on another level, where Victoria's was all emotional, and she may have again matured in the way in which she can handle it. Please keep yourself checked on that, Victoria. Whereas yours is a lot more physical, a lot more like approaching a situation, coming at a motherfucker, right? Showing up, making the calls, right? And Aquarius on the rise assists with that Aries propulsion by getting the information, by planning the thing, by knowing who to call. But at the same time, she don't want no pushback. Aquarius on the rise is like, I did what I did, I said what I said, and I don't want no confrontation. I'm a rebel. I am who I am, and that's all who I am. And I don't want no fights about it. But what I'm saying is, and you got to tell the Aries in you not to start the fight. Does that make sense? The Aries in you got to pull back just a touch if you don't want the fight to come to you, especially with your moon in Taurus, because that's an interesting dynamic. The moon in Taurus will always appear to be very much in control of what it is that they're doing. That moon in Taurus is really, really tricky in a sense. I love moon in Taurus, by the way, because it keeps our emotions calm on some level. But I'm speaking of this combination of a fighting Aries, of a very, very snarky, arrogant Aquarius on the rise who knows a lot. And I tease Aquarius about that, but they only know a lot because they seek the information. You understand? So you got a feisty Aries, somebody that knows a lot, and then your emotional nature is keeping everything cool, which is great. If you was like Malcolm X's like right-hand woman or right-hand man or something like that, because you're in the fight, but you can see the thing. You can see shit happening. That's your positioning in the world, if you ask me. However, Simneva, when it comes to emoting, when it comes to you getting things out, when you have to get it out, you have to plan that. You have to discover a way in which to do that for yourself, sweetie pie, if that makes any sense. Because that moon in Taurus is not going to let off any tears, any anger, any type of shakeup immediately. It almost feels like you have to get beat up by a thing in order for you to emote a thing. I hope that makes sense. I forgot who I was talking to. Linda. Does that make sense to you, Linda? Okay, good. Good. Moon and Taurus people take a lot. They're martyrs. So you take a lot emotionally. You take a lot on emotionally and hold it. And the Aries will either fight it off, work it out, keep busy. The Aquarius energy keeps you in your head. But what happens to your emotion is my question to you. How do you find a way to get it off of your chest? And I mean that quite literally. I don't know if there's like, if you've had some lung situation, I did not want to see this, but a lot of times they just burst on through. If you have some lung situation or some chest situations, you have to be able to emote a little bit better. So nothing gets enlarged in your chest. Does that make sense to you, Linda? All right, I'm going to keep it going because I feel there's some bullies on the other side. They want to come on through. And I'm like, no, I'm not opening up to you. Roxy, will you please talk about Ophiuchus, I don't know how to pronounce that, and what the 13th sign is, or what? I don't know nothing about that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know nothing. I can't even pronounce it. So I don't even know. Well, that doesn't mean anything. This is a lot of shit I can't pronounce, and I know about it. telling on my goofy self, but I honestly don't know anything about that. What I do know is that they're discovering planets and asteroids almost always, right? Because our universe continues to change. Is there some validity in it? Sure. But I can't speak on it, honey pie. And I'll be truthful with you. I'm not that kind of chick to try to make some shit up. So you can we can research on it together. How about that? Okay, I left off over here. Let me go back to anybody on Instagram want a quick read? Tell them, Tam, y'all need to come on over to YouTube. Please come on over to YouTube. I don't see nobody else over here. Okay, cool. So let's stay Ophiuchus. Okay, cool. And it's said to be the 13th sign. I've read about it. What I mean is I've seen some information on it. But I don't know anything about it. And there's a part of me that stops myself oftentimes of receiving way too much information because Virgo and Gemini is not strong in my chart in certain ways. So what I mean by that is that I don't get off on information. I get off on intuition. So when I need to learn about a thing, Spirit tells me, and I haven't been called to hear about it. But I do know what you're talking about. I absolutely know what you're talking about. Oh, somebody on Instagram says, Tara 62171, Gemini sun, Gemini moon, and a Virgo rising. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Let's go into that real quick. Come on, light. I need you to stay on. Why my light keep going off, y'all? No mistake. Relax. It's okay. It's just a light. Gemini sun and moon. Well, there you go. Everything stays superficial in the best way possible. You know, somebody DM'd me and was like, I am not superficial. I am a Gemini that's deep and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, come on now. Don't do that. Superficial can mean many things. And we are happy that you are superficial at times, okay? Because you keep things light and airy. And oftentimes we don't need to be as deep as water can go or as, you know, our hurt feelings can be. And it's necessary to keep things, again, superficial and, okay, just stay there, please. Superficial and light and about information and sociable, right? But again, like I say, is good and bad in almost everything that we do. It's good and bad in not almost everything that we do, okay? So I say all that to say is that Gemini moon and that Gemini rising, that Gemini moon and that Gemini sun helps to keep you social. It helps to keep you like Tupac, like you to negotiate out this motherfucker. Like you are the master communicator for sure, for sure. I don't know if you write, but if you do, or if you're an orator, that would be a great thing because you can talk a good game, but you have a way of convincing people about the truth and about what it is you know. You make it easy for people to understand, bottom line. Oh, yes, you can flip it and it can become manipulative if you're that type of person, right? If that's your spirit. But if you're doing it for the good, you allow people to see information to benefit them and to benefit everybody else around them. Where it gets a little crazy and a little hairy in your three big obvious, I call it, your sun, your moon, and your rise is that your Virgo rising is it is a rise, right? Yep, your Virgo rising is square to your Gemini energy. It's a challenge. So how Gemini wants to stay light and airy and collecting information, sharing information with no real responsibility on it. That's how Gemini does that thing when it comes to Mercury. Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury. They just handle Mercury in a different way. Gemini handles it as collecting the info, compartmentalizing the info, utilizing by sharing the info, by saying the info, by writing the info, whereas Virgo energy takes the info in to collect and to compartmentalize, to be very detailed in a thing. Oftentimes, it's a thankless job, what Virgo energy does. Because like I like to say, they're like the mice in the corner looking for the details where nobody else is paying attention to the details. But a Virgo energy or Virgo rise, Virgo moon, Virgo sun, or Virgo prominence in somebody's chart will allow you to be saved by taking care of the corners, saying, you know what, this building is about to come down because level 5 slat is about to break. We're not paying attention to level 5. Or next thing you know, the building falls down in an earthquake tomorrow. Ooh, that was weird. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. I want no earthquakes coming here. You understand what I mean? So the bottom, but the energies are different in the sense that they want to utilize the information differently. You have to be all right with that within yourself, sweetie pie. And oftentimes Virgo energy can be a Debbie Downer to Gemini's excitement and exuberance about a thing. You know what I mean? Like the details are necessary in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different parts of our lives. However, the Gemini in you, remember, we are our sun. So the Gemini in you appreciates the details, but doesn't want to live there. When you start to live in your details, that means you're afraid. When you're going too deep into the corners, and you really trying to figure out every little T that needs to be crossed and every little I that needs to be dotted and taken away from the fun that the Gemini wants to have, there's an imbalance. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, thank you, Cicely. Please get a reading from me. Y'all know I do these things for a living, right? You can go to my website at wordlifeastrology.com/readings. You get an hour reading, you can get a couples reading, you get a 90-minute reading. And it's a 3-part read. We talk to your ancestors and guides in the first part. Then we do a read with our sun, with your whole chart based on your time, your date, and place of birth. And then we do tarot cards at the very end. You're welcome, Tara 62171. So do your best not to get analysis paralysis, okay? When the Virgo in you doesn't see an end in studying the details and wants to go on and on and on and on. And the Gemini is like, we got enough of that. Can we go party? We got enough of that. Can we talk to the people? We got enough of that. Can we service grandma? We got enough of that. Can we go travel? We got enough of it. You got to find a nice little balance because you came on the planet for that makeup, with that makeup for a reason. We all have our chart for a particular reason. Discover what that is for you and not fight yourself on it. You are a Gemini. You're not Virgo. I'm just saying. All right. I think I'm going to do, I forgot how many I did. I done did right now. I forgot how many I done did. I forgot. Oh, you're welcome, Cicely. I'm doing my best not to open too much. How about that? I heard Spirit say, well, grab that other crystal. I don't see nobody else's information. Here on, did I say I was going to do one more? Look at that. Okay, Irene, I think you're up. Did we do you already? That's an interesting little makeup right there. Sun in Leo, Moon in Cancer, and rising is Aquarius. Rising is Aquarius. Oh, you and Raven's gonna get a couple reads, Roxy. That's cool. That's awesome. That's gonna be fun. Let me go back to Miss Irene. How do you find yours, Hades D22? You can go to several different charts, websites here on the worldwide net. Remember I used to say that? www. There's a website called Lord have mercy, I just said it. ALABE.com is ALAB with an E at the end of it. ALABE.com. And put your information, your time, your date, and your place of birth right in the middle of the gosh darn page. Oh, I'm sweating. And your information will come up. Your sun, your moon, your rise, also the other planets too, the main planets that are in your chart. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little distracted. I was about 3 different places at one time, and I'm doing my best to kind of shut down some gates because it's a lot of energy. coming at me in this moment in time, but we got this. Irene, your sun is in Leo, moon is in Cancer, rising is Aquarius. So you do know that your sun and your rising are opposites, right? I do like opposite positions in people's three big obvious oftentimes. You know why? You're welcome, honey bun. You know why? Because it's a balancing act of some sort, right? It's definitely a balancing act. So you have a Leo sun, you got Aquarius on the rise. The Leo in you is big, gregarious, um is the life of the party, is the Leo is the courageous one, the willful one. I love Leo energy for that. That's for damn sure. Leo will be like, I'm gonna get what I need to get, and ain't nobody gonna stop me. I don't know how I'm gonna get it, but I'm busting through. I love that. Leo energy also expects a lot. You have to be careful of that. They have very, very high expectations, and oftentimes they confuse that. And I'm sure I said that on here before. They confuse that with them cheerleading and just wanting the best for a person. Well, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you to be somebody's cheerleader oftentimes. And then when we are their cheerleader and we provide things for them that we think that would better them, that Leo energy, sometimes people don't utilize it, and then we get our face smashed, right? Because we're like, I did this for you. And it's like, yeah, but nobody asked you. You had the expectations that if somebody utilized it, then they would be richer, or they would be better, or they would be prettier. But actually, I'm okay with myself, is what some people say to that Leo expectation. So don't get disappointed, all right, with that expectation. I like the balance, though, that the Aquarius brings you on the rise, because the Aquarius is like, look, I'm just here, again, to service humanity, and I'm really here to pull back. That's a nice balance. So where Leo is trying to be gregarious and expect a lot and to give a lot and to love from the heart center, Leos love big, and generous with their love. The Aquarius on the rise helps for you to pull it back just a touch, and possibly maybe gets you to ask that question, do you need it? Do you need some help with that? Right? Because the Aquarius rise is not going to waste its time. So that's a good little balance right there. Okay. But again, like I said to somebody else before, that Aquarius rising doesn't like confrontation, and you love being the rebel. Your moon in Cancer, though, now here's the trick, can get her little feelings hurt, Miss Irene. You got to be careful of getting your feelings hurt every now and again when you come hard on people and you want to be that mama. Here's the deal. Leo energy is big. Cancer energy is sensitive. So you got big mama energy. Cancer energy is the mama. So you got big mama energy, right? But sometimes people don't take lightly to big mama energy, because they feel controlled, or they feel like they are being handled, or they feel like they are kids to your mama energy. You get what I'm saying? And if they respond in a way, it may make you feel, again, sensitive and get your feelings hurt. That moon in Cancer is really, really tricky. As the moon in Cancer, you really have to be careful not to attract people's emotional bodies and walk around with their shit on you. At the same time, you won't even know it's on you, because Aquarius has a way of detaching. So I would say, even if you don't think you need to do it, do it. Take a bath every week. Get some water. Wipe off, wash off, spritz off, salt water, sage, get the emotions off of you, even though the Cancer and the Leo in you is like, I'm good. I'm all right. I can handle it. I'm strong. I'm smart. I know. Where your little moon sign is probably getting her feelings hurt every now and again, and you don't even know it, because somebody's sitting in the desk next to you, or your next door neighbor is going through something harsh, and you're like, I got to push through this pain in my chest. I don't know what this pain is, but I'm just going to push through and I'll be all right. You get that, Miss Irene? I hope that makes some kind of sense. Linda said, thanks, Sonia. Your reading hit the nail on the head. I'm so happy to hear that, Miss Linda. I've never understood how I can be so bold at times, but hard to stand up for myself when kindness is not reciprocated. Thanks again. You're welcome. That's a sweet message. I appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you. Can't do too many readings here, y'all, okay? But I appreciate y'all tapping in and wanting to know. Okay, Lyric with your Libra sun, Capricorn moon, Aquarius rising. I'm gonna do. Okay. Okay, real quick, let's do this. Lyric, Libra Sun, Capricorn Moon, Aquarius Rise. I'm going to get back to you in a minute, Crystal. If I can find your information, put your information back up, and then Crystal's going to be the last one. And then we're going to read this card that I'm going to pick for all of us. Again, I decided to do this so I can lend my energy to you and get me out of my own head. Okay? But if you want a full reading, and if you really want to get down and dirty in it, you know what I mean? Because these quick reads do not allow me to tap into a full story. Y'all do know that, right? Y'all do know that. And the reason why I get a little defensive when I do these really is because the expectation that many can have about what it is that they want to hear, the control of what it is that they want to hear versus what needs to come through for them, throws the whole vibration off. Does anybody understand that? Y'all get that? You get what you get. And what I mean by that is through me, I listen to spirit. And if you don't agree with what's coming through, it's okay. Oftentimes I get emails or calls like 2 years later and be like, you know what? That reading you gave me is just hitting like right now. I didn't believe you at first and I thought I wasted my money. And I'm like, well, it comes when you need it to come. You get what I'm saying, y'all? I'm not saying I'm the end all to be all. I'm saying I believe in what it is that comes through me. And if something comes at you and you ask for it, just tuck it in your bra and see how it applies. If not today, it will another day. And it's very difficult to do that. So get a read. It's very difficult to do that right now. Okay. Back to my lyric. Where you at, girl? Sun, Libra, Capricorn Moon, Aquarius rising. So Sun and Libra and Capricorn Moon do not get along. That's a square straight away. That's a conflict. Squares are not always the end all to be all, y'all. I've done many readings where I look in the middle of somebody's chart and see a whole bunch of squares. But that means they're a hard worker. That means that they won't give up on some level. That means they push through the barbed wire and they succeed. Oftentimes when things are handed to us too lightly, we sit back and we're like, I'm going to be all right. Sometimes we need squares to aggravate us. I just want to make that point very, very clear. So with the Libra sun, if I read that properly, and a Capricorn moon, the sun is you being this diplomat, you being the cynical one, you being the one who's down with partnerships almost always, you being the one that's down for justice. I love Libra energy because it knows how to figure shit out almost always. The leaders of the brain, so they have a way of just figuring things out, especially for other people. When it comes to themselves, maybe not so much, and maybe not so quickly. If they take their time, very, very indecisive, very, very indecisive Libra people, right? And that moon in Capricorn, how you emote, how you respond to a thing is very contrary, very different from the way the Libra is. Because again, the Libra is charming. Whereas Capricorn energy in your moon and your emotional nature is very, very stoic, it's serious at times, and it likes to hold back its emotions. Also, Capricorn moon people, and I've said this, I know a bunch of times, you have to be careful about depression because the moon is not readily released in Capricorn energy when it's in Capricorn, right? And you have to literally plan a time to sit back and cry about a thing, right? Because you got way too much to do. I got mountains to fucking climb. I got shit to do. That's what Capricorn moon says. And then the Libra is like, yeah, but we got to let somebody help us do that thing. I know we got to climb up the mountain, but if I'm not charming and I'm not going to this party, if I'm not hobnobbing with the hobnobbers, then I can't get to where I need to get. Where that Capricorn moon is like, I'm not trying to go to a party. I need to go home and work. Your rising can help to save the day because your rising is in agreement with your sun. As an Aquarius rise in that heady energy, that intellectual energy, she pulls in the information. She pulls in the can-dos. She pulls in the pragmatic, oftentimes the pragmatic steps in which Libra can make a decision on. And that moon in Capricorn goes, okay, we got all the information. Okay, now here's my way of dictating, or I should say, is a better word for that. Because the moon in Capricorn doesn't dictate, it starts with a D. not dictate. It helps to help. Sonia, I can't think of it right now. What the Capricorn does is a boss in some kind of way. Delegate. That's the point. Delegate. That's the word I was looking for. It helps to delegate what it is that you need to do in order to get to the top of the mountain. So allow the Aquarius to get the information, for her to piggyback on the Libra's need to be light and airy. And again, diplomatic in her own way and charming, you know what I mean? And really fair and loving debates, getting different perspectives of different things, right? So the moon in Capricorn can go ahead and be serious about what it is that they need to do in order to get to the mountain. And then when there's mountaintop, and then when there's times and you need to cry and you need to emote, like you literally got to shut down the day. Don't wait, please, for a catastrophe to happen. Don't wait for a catastrophe to happen. That moon in Capricorn does not like to let it go. I'm just going to let you know. All right. Oh, Lyric, you're very, very welcome. Oh, now let's go to Crystal. Is Crystal still in here? Hello, everybody on Instagram. I'm about to wrap this thing up. We have been doing free mini reads and just talking about life, talking about what's going on today and standing in your power in some type of way, or feeling rocked because people don't want to take your power. Anyway, that was at the top of this situation. If you want some more of this and you like these particular broadcasts, please come on over to YouTube at Sonia Marie's Wordlife Astrology page. All right. All right. It's good to see you too, Gordon. Appreciate it. See you in the space. Okay, Crystal, you ready? Taurus Sun, Libra Moon, and Sag Rising. Now that's a nice little motley crew right there. Taurus Sun. We was just talking about Taurus energy yesterday. Me and Keela. Taurus energy keeps you grounded. Taurus energy keeps you rooted. Taurus energy is that tree, y'all, that y'all have to remind yourselves. It's not just for you, Crystal. It's for everybody. Remind yourself that that's Taurus's job. So many people want to move the immovable. You can't move Taurus from nothing. You get what I'm saying? That energy's job on the planet is to be a pillar of strength like a redwood tree, is to be rooted. Oftentimes, yes, we do need to change because the universe change and things move and they go and they do what they need to do or whatever. And Taurus is probably the last one to get on board to make the change, but they only make the change because they see the need and they've actually found a really good way to assist themselves and other people through that change. They've done research. It took them time to want to change. That's Taurus energy for you. Because again, like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that's Taurus's job. If everybody is around, if everybody is walking around looking to change and not holding down to traditions, not holding down rituals, not holding down documentations and information to make historic, to see that this thing has been proven. You understand what I'm saying? Then how would we know how the next surge is coming? Meaning that everything is cyclical. And Taurus energy pays attention to what's cyclical. Taurus energy pays attention to routine. Taurus energy stays put so it can watch everything else go around it and come right back to it, because that's what happens. You dig what I'm saying? We have to give Taurus energy reverence for that. I will say this, though. Taurus energy can wear out its welcome when it comes to emotional situations. Why? Because they're martyrs and they're very, very devoted and really, really loyal. So oftentimes when it's time to break camp, cousin, break motherfucking camp. Okay? When he says or she says that they're not in love with you, you can't convince them motherfuckers by baking them another cake. You know what I mean? Or having another child or moving across the country with them. If they don't love you, they don't love you. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying this is for you specifically, Crystal, but that's what I want to imply, or I should say, really, really put into the heart and souls of Taurus people and Taurus energy. You got to know when to call it a thing, man, and just back up. You don't have to go down with the ship. Your devotion is admirable, but not when you're dead. That's for real. On the rise, you have Sagittarius, which keeps things fun, which keeps things adventurous. That's a nice little mix because, again, Taurus don't want to move. Taurus don't want to. Thank you, sweetie pie. I appreciate that. Tam Beguiles. I appreciate you. But with that Sag on the rise, the Sag keeps things moving. The Sag keeps things absolutely adventurous and helps to move the Taurus out of their stuck positions, which is necessary at times, but oftentimes we need to move too. Again, same thing, right? We have to balance out the good and the bad with it. Sag keeps it going. Sag keeps it real. Sag keeps it honest. Your Sagittarius on the rise can possibly give you some foot and mouth disease every now and again, and you don't mean to say a thing when you say a thing, but it comes out your mouth anyway, and you're like, "Ooh, I didn't mean to say that." And the Taurus feeling like, "Oh, I should kind of help correct that," will sometimes overcompensate for the truth that you put out. Be careful of that. I'm just saying. If the truth is the truth, you can learn how to say the truth nicely. It doesn't have to cut. Your Libra moon helps to keep you in partnership with people. Ooh, that tags that Taurus sun wanting to hold on and be a martyr for a motherfucker. Libra moon people always need partnerships. Oftentimes when it's really imbalanced, that Libra moon, and this is not for you, Crystal, but you could have experience this in a particular time in your life. When that Libra moon is in balance, it'll hit up any goddamn partnership. Meaning, when you get lonely, you calling on Boo Boo the fool. Boo Boo, you home? Boo Boo the fool, you home? I'm just a little lonely right now. That Libra moon, you got to be really, really careful about that. Why? Because again, they always want partnerships. And to be fair, that Libra moon wants partnerships for conversation, for ideas, for, for sitting back again and having healthy debates and getting different perspectives. But then you can latch on to a motherfucker with an unhealthy or imbalanced Libra moon and start making yourself that person. You can't see yourself for that person. You start to morph into that motherfucker. That's unhealthy. Just for the sake of being in a partnership. So be careful with that, all right? But you are also definitely the fairest one in the room. You want everybody to get a piece of the pie. That's pretty dope. All right, I'm done with y'all. How long I've been on this thing? An hour and 36 minutes? You must be lying. I know you lying, as Ananda would say. Is she on here? I know you lying. What's up, Danielle? If y'all have any questions, now is the time to throw them on there because, again, I've been on here way too long. And I want to end with a little bit of insight, not from my Oshu's tarot deck, but from my animal cards. I have animal cards today, y'all. My medicine animal cards. I love these freaking cards. They've been rocking with me for years, decades. And I only pull them out when they call and when they want to be pulled out. So we're going to go there today. It reads very differently than the Oshu Zen cards. So get your thinking caps on and really, really tap into what these messages are saying for us. That's the prayer. To be able to bring out a message that we all can utilize and learn from and assist and utilize and be assisted in today. And for the weekend, actually. Thank you. You're welcome, Krista. Oh, that's so dope. I appreciate you saying that, honey. Again, over on Instagram, if you'd like to join my page on YouTube, please do so. It's Sonia Marie's Wordlife Astrology page. I'd appreciate that. All right. Thank you, Roxy. Here's the card, y'all. Great Mother, Father, God. This is for us. Thank you, God. Amen. All right, y'all. What is the message, the animal message for today? You know, all these animals have some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful vibrations, and we get messages and lessons through them almost always. Even when we see them out on the street, pay attention to the animals flying around you, walking beside you, and what they need to say. They are all conduits and information blasters from spirit. Know that, okay? And here is the message that we have today. Oh, a bunch of them are coming out. Bam. Blue heron. Do y'all know about blue herons? They're only in particular parts of the world. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cards. The blue heron. The blue heron. Okay, let's talk about it. Let me get to it. I like to read from the book because I don't want to mistake in any meanings. How about that? I forgot that you was about self-reflection. How about that? Self-reflection is the blue heron. That is a message for us to take away from today and what it is that we talked about. Make sense to anybody out there? Yes, yes, y'all. Again, this is Freestyle Friday, and we do what we want on here with Spirit's guidance, of course. So on Monday, we'll be back with the weekly rundown. So come on back on Monday, okay? And let's talk about, astrologically speaking, what the week is going to be about. The blue heron, y'all. Self-reflection. Heron medicine is the power of knowing the self by discovering its gifts and facing its challenges. Come on. Did I say that like 4 or 5 times already? And let me tell you why. I'm going to keep going, but let me tell you why I keep saying the good and the bad. Because if we only recognize the good, we're dismissing the bad. If we want to stay in our good and build a perspective that is all good without noticing the bad, that's imbalanced, y'all. That's not integration. Get up off your high horse and dig deeper and self-reflect in a way in which you see all the shit. Be embarrassed by it if you need to within yourself, but then quickly get over yourself and know where you need to change some things. You got that, y'all? The blue heron. Heron medicine is the power of knowing the self by discovering its gifts and facing its challenges. It is the ability to accept all feelings and opinions without denying any emotion or thought. Heron flies over those who are unaware of who they are and where they belong in the world, gently dropping a blue feather to them. Heron asks that they follow their intuition and begin the empowering journey of self-realization. If the blue heron has flown into your cards today, it is an urging to dive into the watery world of feelings to seek your truth. Heron teaches you to develop your self-reflective skills so that you may come to know yourself in an intimate way. Looking at yourself through the filmy lens of self-importance, the cloudy perceptions of low self-worth, or the myopic eyes of self-pity, you will never understand your true potential or appreciate the opportunities that appear. Heron asks that you examine yourself with a cold eye to see what you wish to improve and how you want to change. Come on, y'all. God is dope. If you get stuck in the process, it may be a sign that you are being too hard or too critical. Choosing to blame others and constantly pointing a finger at life's situations instead of claiming responsibility for your actions show that you lack the courage to face any enemy within. Heron medicine people are willing to look at themselves and see the truth of their motives, their actions, their feelings, dreams, goals, inner strengths, and inner weaknesses. In balancing those truths, Heron's medicine shows you how to meet the challenges of your personal weakness and how to continue developing the skills that lead to inner strength and certainty of purpose. Are you willing to dive into the watery depths of your own feelings and discover the role of your spiritual essence? Heron is now calling you to dive deeper, to know yourself, to trust your path. Like the phoenix who rises from its own ashes, Heron emerges from the unseen worlds of spirit into a new balanced sense of self in order to embrace its potential again and again. The magnificence of your human spirit lies waiting for the joy of discovery. If you are courageous enough to follow the water bird throughout the journey, Heron reminds you that every traveler on life's journey is a messenger, and that every destination is the beginning of a new life cycle on the medicine wheel. Ashe, amen, ashe, aho. I pray that y'all take this information and this message deep to your heart. I love when spirit speaks like that and absolutely brings it right back around to one. Astrology is a cute little meditative tool. At the very least, it can be incredibly entertaining. But again, like I started at the top of this freaking broadcast, it's about looking at ourselves. It's about the self-reflection. It's not about beating yourself up and revisiting old feelings and old stories and old narratives. People get lost in that shit because they don't want to feel, because they don't want to put responsibility on themselves. They don't want to be accountable, right? It's not about digging deep into the past. Self-reflection is just looking at you and where you are right now and what you can do differently. Good and bad, up and down and all around. Y'all sound like a broken fucking record. This is my life's work. Whether I'm going to do it in astrology for the next couple of years or whether I'm going to get my ass back on stage and y'all hear it in song and poetry and notations. It's coming through some kind of way because I'm always, always here to self-reflect and to be a mirror for you if you like it. So thank you for joining me today on this Freestyle Friday. I'll see you real soon. If you want to join the village and learn astrology, hit up my village hut link in the bottom of this video on YouTube and in the bio and Instagram. And meet us on Monday. All right, for the weekly rundown. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care of yourself and continue to see you for who you are. That's what works. That's what makes you better than you were yesterday. All right. Peace, y'all.